The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Waking humanity, one soul at a time. This is the World You Don't Know radio show with your host, Nick O'Connor.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome along to this week's edition of The World You Don't Know with myself, Mick O'Connell. And I have a guest lined up for you tonight. I've got a guest coming on from, I think she's living down in Wexford, but I think she's a Dublin girl. Her name is Hilary Connor, and she's a Certified Consulting Hypnotherapist, Certified Spiritual Healer, Past Life Regression Therapist, and Natural Psychic Medium with a Diploma in Training and Qualifications in Counselling. So hopefully we'll have a very interesting chat. I'm going to be chatting not about the New World Order. I mean, we might even just talk about that in the context of whatever else it is we end up talking about. Hilary's going to be appearing at the Open Minds Conference in February, on February the 25th, 26th. I'm not sure what day she's on. We can ask her now when she comes on now in a couple of minutes. Now, she's going to be at that conference in Dooley's Hotel in Waterford, and that has been organised by the Awaken Aware South East Ireland Facebook page, which is a great Facebook page. It's gaining a lot of traction. It's got an awful lot of members on it now. And this is the first conference they've organised, and they've got some wonderful speakers, some past guests on my show, like Enoch Crane. They've got Ben Gilroy, who's been a past guest. They've got Terry Lawton, who's been a past guest on talking about the chemtrailing agenda. You'll have Ben Gilroy on talking about the banks and the evictions and stuff like that and what goes on in the courts. So there's some wonderful speakers. Tom Ryan is going to be there talking about sovereignty. And I'm going to the event myself now. The tickets are booked, hotel room was booked. So, and it should be a very interesting event. Now, Hilary's going to be one of the guests, as I said, who's going to be speaking at the event. And there's another great speaker going to be at that event as well, Judith Very Baker. And I've mentioned her on the show before. She's actually the girlfriend of Lee Harvey Oswald, or was the girlfriend of Lee Harvey Oswald. And she wrote a now famous book called Lee and Me. She claims Lee was set up. I mean, that's a common conspiracy theory these days. Anyway, that he was set up. And I'm hoping to get her on the show very soon. I have connected with her on Facebook. I do have an email address for her as well. And I'm going to try and get her on very, very soon, hopefully before the conference. And it'll be very interesting to have her on. I'm going to call Hilary in now as well, so hopefully she will answer and we can go straight to Hilary and get this interview on the way, because we do only have an hour, unfortunately, and a 2-hour show would be great. I've had some good guests on lately, and you know, an hour is very rarely enough time to garner all the information that the guests have. So anyway, in saying that, it is 7 minutes past, so I'm going to go straight to Hilary. Good evening, Hilary.
Hi, Nick, how are you?
Can you turn your microphone up a little bit?
Oh gosh, hang on now.
If you can. Or move it closer to you.
Hang on now. Is that any better?
That's a lot better, yeah, I can hear you a lot better now.
Okay.
It's just more so for the listeners so they can hear you, you know, because it has to come through my desk and then out into the ether, as it were. So I just read out your synopsis. You're a Certified Consultant Hypnotherapist, a Certified Spiritual Healer, Past Life Regression Therapist, and Natural Psychic Medium with a Diploma in Training and Qualification in Counselling. Now, I also read on the website as well that you do Reiki as well.
Yeah. No, I don't. I do Reiki, but I don't do a whole lot of Reiki, but I am qualified in it. Yeah. So it would mainly be the one-to-one psychic readings that I do and the hypnotherapy, really. Right.
I mean, a lot of people, and I will include myself in this, in the past, would be sceptical about the likes of Reiki. Now, I just have a quick story about Reiki. I have an aunt who actually practices Reiki, and when she was beginning the Reiki, most of my family were sceptical of it, you know, saying that, you know, it's all just airy-fairy stuff, you know, there's nothing real in it. And I was up in her house one day and she offered to do a bit of Reiki on me. I was complaining about something wrong with my lower back. So she was doing her thing and I was sitting there, she had some dolphin music on, I think it was. And I was just sitting there in the chair in the middle of her sitting room. And she was doing whatever she was doing. And I asked her, I had my eyes closed, but I asked her, I said, May, I said, can you do me a favour? You wouldn't roll your sleeves up. I pictured in my head that her sleeves was like a wool cardigan or something. And it was rubbing off my face and tickling the face off me. And she asked me to open my eyes and I did. And she had a short sleeve blouse on. And her hands were miles away from me. So there was an energy between the two of us. No. And it was then I became convinced there's something in this.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, Mick, it's kind of whether it's Reiki or spiritual healing or bioenergy therapy or, you know, any of they're all just modalities of healing. They all do the same thing effectively. You know, it's channeling the energy of source, which is pure love, to the person, and that's what love does. It heals all, whether it's Reiki or anything, you know, that's what love does. And you know, the energy that you were picking up, that was the energy of spirit coming around you, channeling the energy in, and that's lovely. That's lovely that you felt it.
Well, I honestly did feel it, and you know, as I said, I was probably one of the biggest skeptics, I hate that word, of Reiki, but not now. Like, I do know there's something in it. And like, since then, I was a lot younger at that time, and I've always considered myself awake, but I wouldn't have been awake as I am now. I wouldn't have been aware of as many subjects as I am now. I'm 45 now. I'm going back to when I was around 27, 28 when this happened. And I've since learned then that, you know, the real true nature of the universe, that the whole universe is just energy. We're all part of the same energy matrix, call it whatever you will. So, you know, anyone like yourself who's coming forward to say that, you know, they're able to heal people, you know, using energy, it's not something I would dismiss now out of hand. Years ago, yes, I would have, but not now.
And you see, like that there, you just said, like, me being able to heal people. I always say, Mick, I'm the channel of that healing. I provide myself to be of service to spirit to work through me, right? That is something that anybody on this planet can do. It's not, you don't need to be certified or anything in this, that and the other. With the intent, with an intent from your heart to serve, to heal, anybody can do it. You know what I mean? Because what you're doing is you're channeling that energy from source to the person that needs it. You know, placing yourself in a position of service to do so, and it's from there that the healing happens. And you don't have to be. You can be sitting. You don't have to be certified in this, that, or the other. You could be sitting down with a good friend or with somebody sitting on the side of the street that's homeless and having a chat with them. That's channeling healing as well, and that's providing yourself to the healing service. Do you know what I mean?
Now, it's funny you should say that. I was watching a video over the weekend on YouTube, and it was of a homeless guy in America. And some guy had just stopped and he was videoing him and just talking about the guy's life, you know, and you could see the transfer of energy, if you want, between the two of them. You know, they had something going between the two of them, and even I picked up on it when I was watching the video, you know. I mean, the homeless guy was talking an awful lot of sense. The other guy was getting it completely. It was quite a strange thing to watch.
I saw that guy spoke truth. You know, he really did. He really brought it down to what it's about. Is that the guy that had a business and he had people working for him?
Yeah, he was wearing I think he had a red T-shirt on, if I'm not mistaken.
He went to jail and he
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't listen to it. I was reading it as he was, you know, as he was speaking.
That's right. There were subtitles on it. You're right. That's the very video, yeah.
But there you go. That's just, it's done there. You know, there's no hierarchy among people. Everybody is the same, you know, so therefore healing can be channeled.
Now, can I ask you, I mean, I know for a fact that I myself, I'm a very empathic person, you know. If I see injustice everywhere, like it angers me, and I do feel for other people always, you know. Even though I have all my own problems like everybody else has, everyone's fighting their own battles, as you know. But I can't help empathising with other people. And I can't help thinking either that most people must be like that. Everybody has to be like that. It can't be just me and a handful of other people who feel like that. You know, what's your opinion on that? Do you think that, you know, empathy is only for a certain number of people, or do you think everybody has the ability to be empathic?
You know what, Nick? I think it really comes down to the choice of the individual and what they want to look at. Do you know what I mean? Are you going to look with your heart, or are you going to look with your head? You know, and again, it's coming back to placing yourself in a position of service. You know, when you're coming from your heart, you care. Everybody has empathy, you know. Everybody's got empathy, but not everybody chooses to use it. A lot of people choose their own agenda and what they want and what they can get, as opposed to what they can give. You know, and those like yourself and like myself and many others, thank God, you know, that choose to care, that choose to make a difference, that choose to do something. They're doing that from their heart, which is where the empathy flows from, you know.
And can I ask you, when did you first? I mean, I'm sure you've always been an empathic person. I mean, I get that. It comes across very clear from you. How old were you when you first became aware that you had, I'm not saying powers or anything like that, but you had the ability, I suppose, to, to help people?
Can I tell you the story?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, okay. There's two parts to the story. When I was about 5 or 6, very, very young anyway, okay? I can remember this very, very vividly, just playing on the sitting room floor at home, or in the bedroom or whatever. And when my mom or dad or nobody else was in the room, there was always these beautiful beings with me. Now they were like people. They were in human form, as in they had a head, shoulders, 2 arms, 2 legs, but they were much bigger, right, than people are. They were much taller, much bigger. And I was always asking them questions. I was asking questions about why is this and why is that. No, they were really, really inquisitive. And all I can remember with them is they always explained and answered all of the questions I had with such pure, unconditional love.
Now, how old were you? 5 years old?
I was about 5 or 6.
No, can I ask you, some people, some of my listeners who are listening now will be saying to themselves, oh, that was just an imaginary friend. How would you answer that?
No, it wasn't, because it's such a vivid memory. How do I answer that it wasn't an imaginary friend? Here's the answer. I just know.
Right.
And I just knew. There were 3 of them. They were always surrounding me, and the love, the unconditional love, and it was like they were with me. I later became to know that they were spirit. When I grew up, I realised that's what they call spirit guides. But I was sitting, talking, working with my spirit guides before I even knew that there were such a thing. They were just these beautiful teachers, beautiful beings that were with me all of the time. And there did come a time that I just couldn't. I knew that nobody else could see them, and there came a time where I just couldn't physically see them anymore. But the other part of the story is, right, I knew that they weren't of this 3-dimensional planet Earth. I knew that they didn't live on planet Earth. I knew they were from the same place that I was from, and the same place that everybody else on this planet was from. And the second part of this story is, I remember, and I'm going to pick my dad as an example, right? And my dad is a lovely, genuine, very, honest, decent man. But I'm going back to, the early 80s. And I remember as a little child looking up at my dad and knowing that he came from the same place as I came from. We all came from this place, and we're here on this place that we call Earth for a time to experience and learn and grow as we do along our journey here. But I remember looking at my dad and going, why does he look so scared? Why does he look so stressed? Why does he look so worried? Does he not know who we are? Why is he worrying about all these little small things like work and responsibility and the bills and all that? And I can consciously remember realizing he forgets who we are.
But if we're supposed to have multiple lives, and I believe that, I don't believe there's such thing as death, to be honest with you. Not if we, look at it on a quantum physics level, that we're all energy and stuff like that. It can't die. We just transmute into something else. Aren't we supposed to forget? I mean, isn't that the whole trick of it, that if we do have multiple lives, there's no point in remembering all the past ones?
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, you'd be driven mad.
That's what I mean. It'd be nuts.
But no, it's not so much about remembering past lives. It's more so remembering who we are and the infinite power that is of us, but and available to us at all times, and forgetting that. And then, he has shrunk himself down, and my mother and the neighbours and others have come to shrink themselves down into thinking this physical body, that's as far as it gets. So as to live and survive in this 3-dimensional physical world. And the reason why they did it and everybody else did it is because everybody else does. And therefore that's what becomes normal. And anything other than that is madness.
Yeah, David Icke, he points that out quite often, and if you watch his videos, and he does be talking about Joe Soap and Mary Soap on the street, and he always points out that unfortunately their train of thought is, small little me, what can I do to change the world? There's nothing I can do. I just have to go along to get along. And unfortunately, he's right. Most people do think like that. They think that they don't have the ability to make big changes, but they do.
Oh, don't get me started. Yeah. And it's learning what we can do so as to take our power back, and so as to empower ourselves to realise and make manifest that power that is within each of us every single day. And there's countless things that we can do. But it comes down to a daily discipline and a decision to do so, and how to do so. It's all over the place now. Meditation techniques, mindfulness, prayer, there's yoga. There's so many different ways that we can plug in to who we truly are and come from that place. But I'll keep it as simple as I can. The easiest way, the quickest way, and the most effective way is to walk with the awareness of an open heart and come from a place of love in everything that you do, and asking questions like, Gandhi said it, didn't he? What can I give as opposed, I think Gandhi said it, what can I give as opposed to what can I get? Be the change you wish to see in the world, all of that kind of thing. Coming at life each and every day in that awareness, and that's how you plug into the infinite power that's available to all of us, but we've just all forgotten, and when you do, it's just, you see your relationships change, they improve, your life changes, all the right people in your life, they do just simply show up. And that's like the law of attraction, the law of effect.
That's something I want to talk to you after the break. Listen, I need to go to a break. I wanted to ask you before you do go, do you have a landline at home?
I don't have a landline at home.
Right. Do you have a mobile?
Yeah.
Can you send me a mobile via Skype? Because the signal on this is very bad, and unfortunately you're not coming through very, very clearly, unfortunately.
No problem at all. I will.
Right, so while the ads are on, if you can send me a mobile and I'll get you on the phone instead.
Yeah, no
We'll
problem.
we'll get a much better signal. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes with Hilary. Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Now, I'm going to go back to Hilary. Hilary, are you still there? Yeah, it's still very bad, unfortunately. I don't know why.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's just you're very low for some reason. It could be me, I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll carry on, Hilary. Just before the ads there, we mentioned the law of attraction. Am I? Do you know what? It could be, I don't know, it could be the government interfering with the call. You just don't want this to happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's actually a lot clearer now. I just pressed a little button there and it seems to be a lot clearer. So we'll carry on, just before the break there, we were talking about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Now, I became aware of that back in 2006 when I stumbled across the documentary The Secret.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched The Secret, and I have to say, it literally blew the top of my head clean off. I was saying to myself, if this is real, I got angry. I got very, very angry at it because I looked at the misery that was in the world. And at the time, I was going through a very rough time myself personally. I was going through a lot of depression at the time. And I couldn't believe that if this is true, am I getting lied to? How dare they? This is the way I felt, And unfortunately, then my mother got sick then the following year, and I'd done my best to get her to watch The Secret and understand it, but unfortunately she'd spent 40 years of watching soaps on the television, so she was completely gone to mush, her brain was. She just couldn't comprehend what The Secret was all about. But I got it when they were talking about quantum physics and stuff like that, because that was a subject I'd already been interested in. And I watched a few other documentaries then that were similar to that, talk about the same thing and stuff like that. So I tried to manifest, and I'll be straight up and honest there, I tried to manifest an Audi Q7 for myself. It never happened. And I don't think it ever will. But I didn't put the effort in to get one. If I wanted to get an Audi Q7, I needed to get a job that would allow me to afford to get an Audi Q7. So I sort of missed out on that bit. But I've since seen Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, he exclaims an awful lot about how good the law of attraction is in his life and how he uses it to get to where he is. And there's a video on YouTube of Conor when he was around 17 where he was predicting what he was going to do, and he's done it, and he attributes a lot of that to the law of attraction.
Yeah, he is the best example that I can think of to explain how you get the law of attraction to work for you. That guy just commits himself. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. That guy just commits himself to make manifest and attract and disciplines himself to bringing that about non-stop, constantly and continuously, and he is the model for how it works, without a shadow of a doubt. He's brilliant, in my opinion. I think he's brilliant. I'm not saying necessarily that boxing is brilliant, but I think that what he's demonstrating is absolutely.
Now, I think myself, just from what I've seen of it, I think there's two things you need to master, if you will, in order for it to work. And one of them is the belief in yourself and the belief in the goal you're trying to achieve, i.e. what you want to be, where you want to get to. But the other thing that you really have to master, in my opinion, is gratitude. You need to already be grateful for what you've already got. And most people are not. Black Friday is a prime example of that.
Stop, I know. Like, I have 3 kids, and I'm always saying, whatever, money can I have this, money can I get this, money can I get that, you know. And I'm always saying to them, if you're not happy with what you already have, and if you're not thankful for what you already have, what makes you think you're going to be happy with more? You know what I mean? And it's very much the same with people. It's like, I want this, what can I get, what can I get, what can I get, you know what I mean? And everybody's getting it backwards. You know, it's about what can I give, and giving gratitude for what and the blessings that we already have. You know, I think gratitude first thing in the morning, you know, to starting off the day is a powerful thing to do, by way of directing where your day is going to go and what it is that you're going to attract more of that in during that day. And it's got to be a way of life. You know, it's not just something that you dip into now and again. It's a commitment and a discipline that you make every single day. You know, I wrote an article there, probably about 6 months ago, on, I call it the law of attraction and why it doesn't work, right? And it's a long article now, but the 3 reasons why, I come up with 3 reasons from my own perspective of why the law of attraction doesn't work.
Do you mean that it doesn't work full stop for anybody, or why it doesn't work for the individuals who are trying to make it work for themselves?
The law of attraction works. The law of attraction is at play all of the time in everybody's lives.
Whether you want it to or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And the 3 reasons I come up with why it doesn't work, because so many people try it and they think, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that. And they go back to whatever they were doing before and manifesting and attracting on that level. But with the law of attraction, what you do when you're working consciously with the law of attraction, you are deliberately, you know, manifesting what you want to happen in your life with awareness, you know. And anyway, the first reason that I came up with, what was it? Taking action, right? Taking action. That's the first reason, is taking action. The second reason was spiritual fitness, and the third reason was expectation. So taking action, you know, the way we say, okay, creative visualization and meditate on what you want and focus on what you want and everything else, so as to bring it about in your life, your RDQ7, right?
One day.
That's well,
one day.
Yeah, some days. Well, that will manifest it on an astral level, on a mental level, and on an emotional level, right? But then you got to take the physical action, like you were saying there, to maybe work towards getting the job. It's going to give you the salary that's going to get the, you know, the RDQ7. And it's about kind of take it. People don't take action because that means stepping outside of their comfort zones. And because of the ego and fear and the conditioned beliefs that we have about ourselves, we're conditioned to think that we're going to fail, or we're not good enough, or, you know, loads of different things. So we don't take that action and do the letting go, so as to bring about the change that needs to come in to make manifest what it is that we're trying to manifest, right? That's the first reason. The second reason is spiritual fitness. So say somebody does take the action, they go about stepping outside of their comfort zones and stretching themselves and pushing their limits, right? But then they don't work with spiritual fitness. They don't, like you were saying, they give gratitude every day for what it is that they already have. They don't do the meditation. They don't tone and tune their spiritual muscles every day, so as their vibration can go on to a higher level, so as they can be more effective human beings in their life. Like, like, you know, that we talk about love and all that is, and that we are spirit beings having a human experience. And we come down here to experience ourselves through our lives and the events of our lives. And then we've got the ego, all right? And the ego being, from my perspective, I call the ego the self-hate self, where you got love and fear, fear being the ego. One or two things come up when you are working with spiritual fitness. All that doesn't belong, which is, you know, really stepping into the truth of who you are, and that knowing and coming at life from that place. And then you got the ego that's coming along, and the ego will say, but you're not able, you're not clever enough, you're not intelligent enough, you're not good looking enough, you're not liked enough, whatever, right? Now, they can either be, those self-limiting beliefs can be either obstacles or they can be seen as opportunities, right? Now, if we see them as obstacles, they're going to block our way, right? When we work with spiritual fitness, then they come along, and that's like somebody who, say Conor McGregor, going and training himself and pushing himself harder so as he can be a fitter fighter, a better fighter, a more focused fighter. He pushes himself outside of his comfort zones all of the time. So he embraces his weaknesses, right, and brings them, I would say, into the light so as he becomes stronger at what he was weaker. Yeah? Mm. Do you get me? But in my life, right, there will be something that I would want to do, and a lack of self-belief would come up around it. It's very much about looking at that lack of self-belief and going, Hilary, why is this belief here? Where's it coming from? Having a chat with it, listening to what it has to say, any fear-based belief, having a chat with it, listening to what it has to say. Now, this also goes, Nick, to say for people with anxiety, people with depression, people who, that's all coming from a place of fear and beliefs that aren't really true. And sitting down with them and having a chat with them, from a place of unconditional love, hearing what they have to say, from a place of non-judgment, and in doing that with love, you bring those fears into the light. And when you bring something into the light, it disappears, it goes away, But it's doing that spiritual fitness, so that problem, that obstacle, therefore becomes an opportunity to grow, right? An opportunity to be a stronger person, a more aware person, a more confident person, a more able person, right?
Now, can I just say, I once spoke to a person many, many moons ago, and he was talking about ancient Irish culture and how in tune with the universe the native Irish were, and because of our position on the planet, now this could be just airy-fairy, I don't know if it's 100% true, but the person was telling me that because of the position that Ireland is situated on the planet, that the Irish are more tuned in than most other people on the planet. You go back to the Druids and stuff like that, and all the ancient cultures that we had in this country. And that was one of the main reasons that we've been so suppressed for the last, a few hundred years, mainly by the British and stuff like that, was because they knew that we were more in tune with Mother Earth than they were. And they couldn't allow that because I suppose it upsets the status quo as far as they were concerned in the way they wanted the world to be.
Their agenda, and that's it. Yeah, I know, and it's about, and I think that's what Ireland is doing now. And just another thing about that as well. From my experience, say Cromwell times, 1798, and all the events that happened through history, with Ireland being attacked and the famine and blah 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 and being suppressed. There's a sound memory in the land that's held in the land in Ireland, and I'll have to talk to you again about that, because that's I could talk to you for hours about that one. But there's a sadness in the land, and the people in Ireland and in our ancient wisdom, we're picking up on that sadness. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's affecting us, and it's also keeping us down. And it's about, really, you have a lot of Irish people going around, that have this inner knowing, that are healing, that are knowing that this healing needs to be done, and they're doing great work to bring the healing into the land. And I feel this is speeding up more and more and more, even though...
Yeah, I get exactly where you're coming from there. I've seen that over the last, I suppose, 10 to 15 years. I mean, I've been at this radio show 6 years. I was involved, I suppose, in the truth movement. I don't like using terms for that or whatever, but in the awakening process, for a long, long time. And 10, 15 years ago, if I was telling people, about the subjects that me and you were discussing now, they would look at me and say, you're nuts, you're crazy, get back in line. Now, I see more and more people getting into this, and more people are waking up, with no doubt about it. I just want to bring you back to what you were saying there about land, and about these memories being held in land, and, that ties in with energy and stuff like that. I was watching Vin on People's Internet Radio last night, and I don't know if you're aware of Vincent Bourne, and he was doing a show about star forts.
Okay.
Right, now, I don't know if you're aware of star forts. Are you aware of them?
No.
Well, do you know Charles Fort in Cork?
No, I'm sorry, I
Well,
don't.
in Kinsale, just across Kinsale Harbour there, you've got Charles Fort. It's these forts, they're like star-shaped. The land is star-shaped. Now, don't mind the buildings that are on them. The land was there before the buildings, remember. But these are dotted all over the world. There's literally thousands of them around the world, and they're all the very same shape. I'd urge you to look them up. They're very interesting. But the most interesting thing about them that Vin has discovered is he was watching this German guy doing experiments on an oscilloscope. Do you know what an oscilloscope is? One of these little square box things with the green lines on them, and you can manipulate them with sound.
Yeah.
Well, this guy was manipulating them with all different sound waves, musical sound waves, like some lovely sounds.
Yeah.
And they were forming planets on the screen. And one of the shapes that had formed that Vin caught onto was a star fort.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and Vin reckons these star forts, they're not, like, we're led to believe that these star forts were installed in this country and around the world by the British as military installations. That it's horse crap. It literally is bull. Because if you look at the shape of them, and then you look at this video, and this sort of ties in with cymatics, you know, this, the manipulation of matter using sound. It sort of ties in with that as well, and you know, it's in the Bible. Now, I'm not a religious person. I've no time for religion whatsoever. I am a spiritual person, pretty much like yourself. But one of the things that it does say in the Bible is, the first thing that existed in the universe was sound, and that the whole universe is held together by sound, i.e., vibrations, energy, vibrations, all that sort of stuff. So this all sort of ties in with star forts. But because we've got them here in Ireland, I think Ireland is a very, very energetic place. And I think there's going to be any big major change in the world, it's going to emanate from here.
I 100% agree with you. There's no two ways about it.
That's just a feeling I have. It's a gut feeling.
No, spot on. It was absolutely spot on. And I think so many of the Irish people, even in, I know like 10 to 15 years, particularly 15, 2003, I went out starting reading. Okay, I left my job, I was working in a bank, hated it. Left the job, I want to do spiritual work, I just want to do readings. So I went around January 2003, I got on my little Fiat Ibiza and I drove the southeast looking for an angel shop, a metaphysical shop, you know, any shop that seems to be open to something spiritual, you know, or healing or whatever. And I believe you me, back in 2003, they weren't to a penny. You know, there was very, very few. Ended up finding this shop in Kilkenny, and she offered me a place to do readings, but when I was going into the shops, any shop that I kind of thought would be in any way open to something metaphysical, it was totally unheard of doing psychic readings, spiritual readings. You know, no, it was just a language that we don't speak, and you know, I was looked at like I had 10 heads or whatever. Now you go on Facebook and Jesus, every other post is somebody offering to do readings, and there's about 140,000 comments on them saying, "Me please." You know?
There is a lot of charlatans out there, though. That's the only downside to it. But for anyone who thinks that, and I've mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the show, when I had Mark Bajerski on the show 2 weeks ago, if anyone thinks that psychic readings and, you know, what Hilary's claiming that she's capable of doing is hogwash, I'll just give you a quick little story. I was a doorman many, many years ago, and at the time I was going through a lot of crap. I had a lot of anger issues or whatever, you know, depressed and blah blah blah. You know, the world was a horrible place as far as I was concerned. And a woman came up to me on the door and she looked at me and she says, "You have a lot of anger issues, haven't you?" And I said, "Well, doesn't everybody, you know?" She said, "No, yours is a particular type." I said, "Whatever." She said, "I'd love to do a reading on you sometime." She said she was a psychic. So I said, "Okay, fair enough, I will." So I went up to her house, sat in her kitchen, and she got me to drink this tea, and I drank the tea, and she was looking at the cup and stuff like that, and she was looking at my palm. And she turned around, she basically says, "You're going to go onto a stage and you're going to reveal great truths to people." Now, I laughed at that. Now, I look at myself on the radio now, and here's what I'm doing, is revealing truths to people, so maybe this is my stage. But I asked her for some evidence that what she was saying was true. Like, how do I know you're not a charlatan, you're trying to reel me in for some scheme further on down the road? She said, "Well, I want nothing off you." She said, "I don't want any money off you. If you never see me again, it's irrelevant to me." She says, "But just to give you a hint that I am being genuine with you," she said, "You've got a sister that drives a white car." I says, "Yeah." Now, I said, "Fair enough, how did you know that?" But, you know, white is a popular colour and most people have cars and a lot of blokes have sisters. And that's how I was thinking. And she said to me, "Well, tell your sister to watch her lights." So I went home the next day and I said to my sister, and that was grand, nothing came of it. But a week later, she phoned me and she said, "Who was that woman that you were talking to?" And I says, "Why?" She says, "Something's happened." I says, "Why, what's happened?" I said, "Nothing bad, I hope." She said, No. She says, so-and-so was out in the car last night, came home, left the lights on, battery went dead. Now, for someone, years ago I would have believed in coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence anymore. I believe in synchronicity 100%, because I see it all the time. And when that happened then, that sort of like put the hairs up in the back of my neck. I said, there's definitely something in this.
Yeah. I know, definitely. And I think that's it. I mean, there are an awful lot of charlatans out there, but it's like that lady gave you. She gave you the validation.
Yes, and she didn't ask me for anything in return.
Yes, exactly. She was just putting herself in service, placing herself in a position of service, and off she went. You know what I mean? And so it was done. You know. But I think I don't know whether you heard. I don't know whether you heard the story that I was saying earlier on about when I was chatting to my spirit guides and being able to, I just knew they were there. And for me, like, I don't, whether somebody believes me in what I do or not, or what I can or can't do, it never bothered me, and it never will, because that's not up to me whether they're convinced or not. It is what it is. And that's where it begins.
That's a quote I've been using quite a lot lately. It is what it is.
Yeah, and it's true. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But when I'm working with people, I would always seek to give them the validation, because there's so many charlatans out there. It's good to be able to give them the backup for what I'm saying to them, so as they know. You know what I mean? And then once they know, we can set their mind at rest, and then they can go on with the work of the messages and the guidance is provided for them. You know what I mean? So that's why I give the validation in that sense. But it's fascinating. But even in the last 6 months, I find, like, this whole waking up, the acceleration of it that's been going on over the last 10, 15 years, even in these last 6 months, I think it's stepped up. And
it's speeding up, all right. There's no doubt about that.
More people are waking up. And even people that 6 months ago wouldn't have spoken to me about any of this are coming up and they're wanting to sit down and find out more about it. People are seeking to understand.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it wasn't necessarily an ignorance with people, but it just would have went over their head.
They've got life worries to be thinking about, I suppose.
This is it, exactly.
Yeah.
And now they're realising, like, from my perspective, I really feel that it's, when it comes to your life worries and, the problems and everything that each one of us are facing, when we connect in with a spiritual power, those problems solve so much more effectively and easily than they could have otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're connecting with the divine truth and find care of who we are, and it's available and accessible to us at all times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I need to go to my last break, so do you mind holding the line for 2 minutes? Brilliant. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes with Hilary.
Local programmes, local presenters, local news. Tune to Liffey Sound 96.4 FM.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Hilary, you still with me?
I am.
That's grand. I've got a few messages in. Unfortunately, some people are complaining about the sound, but unfortunately, folks, there's absolutely nothing I can do. I don't know if it's Skype, if it's the internet, but I can hear myself loud and clear in my headphones, and unfortunately, any line that's connecting to it, including the phone, is not coming through as loud. I have messed around with the levels here, but unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. Hopefully, when I take the podcast home, I might be able to clean up the sound, so the podcast might sound a lot better than the show has done so far. Hilary, I've got about 10 minutes left. I want to just ask you, what kind of people come to you looking for, I suppose, healing and help? And like, one thing I want to touch on in particular is this past life regression. What are people remembering about past lives?
It depends on the person, and it would depend on why they would have come for the past life. I mean, mostly people want to come for past life regressions for whatever reason, but it's always to seek to understand and to have clarity about what they just cannot find. Like, say, an unexplained fear. Somebody would have a fear of water, say, for example, and they've no reason, they can't think of a reason why.
Yeah, I have a terrible fear of it myself.
Say that again?
I have a terrible fear of water myself.
Really? And
yeah.
Can you...
No, there's no reason. I mean, I got thrown into the canal when I was a kid, but I mean, I was saved quite quickly. I don't think it's that, but I can't put my finger on. No one ever tried to drown me or anything like that, but I was down in Wexford there a couple of years ago with my partner, and I mean, I was in water. It was up to my knees. I'm 5'6", 5'7". The water was up to my knees, so I wasn't even a foot high. And she walked into the water, and I froze and panicked. I begged her, please don't come anywhere near me. I thought I was going to drown.
It's a legitimate fear. Like,
it's like it's a very irrational fear, but I have it.
Yeah, and that's it. It's a rational fear that people can't explain. They want to be regressed to realise how, or people might come to. They just want to find out more about themselves.
Yeah.
What reoccurring patterns that are happening in their lives that they just can't get out of, and they don't know why those patterns are there. They'll come for the regression to seek to understand what happened before. What is this subconscious memory that is in my mind that is causing me to believe the beliefs that I'm believing that's causing this, cause and effect. And with regards to who comes for past life regressions, anyone and everyone, you've all walks of life, especially with readings as well, like opposite from farmers to corporates to psychologists to teachers to nannies to everyone. I can't really say there is a particular type of person that comes for a reading. Everybody's seeking, you know what I mean? Everybody's seeking guidance, seeking understanding, seeking empowerment. And nowadays it's very, very much seeking to get their power back, and that the process of that will usually happen in the course of the reading, without me even trying, without just the process itself, you know what I mean?
And have you ever come across a person that has come to you for a reading but you just can't read them for whatever reason?
It would have happened. I can't think of anyone to mind, but I know it did happen. It's a long, long time since that happened. I just couldn't pick up a single thing about them. Now, maybe one or two, but I'd be pretty persistent, Nick, and I'd just keep digging. You know what I mean? The energy is there. It may well be getting blocked or whatever, and that could be my fault. It could be their fault. There's a reason for it, but I'll find a way. I usually do find a way.
Now, another thing I want to ask you, we've got a couple of more minutes left. I'm not sure if you're aware of the term star children.
Yes, I'm glad you said that to me.
Star child, like star children. Now, I've read an awful lot about them online, and some people think they're pretty much like yourself, like they're born psychics, they're born doing everything you do, like they have these abilities and stuff like that, and they don't know it. But can I ask you, like, have you ever, maybe not even come across them, but do you ever look at children and see something in them like that? You know just by being around them that there's something special about them. Now, don't get me wrong, all kids are special. I mean, I have a 4-year-old myself at home, and he's great crack, so I don't mean it in that way, but, that little bit extra special.
In the last 12 years, right, I think there's been more and more and more star children being born, and I think they're coming here to do a very, very big, powerful job. They're coming back in here with the remembrance of who they truly are, and they're very much no nonsense, right? This is going to get done, and that's it. And I think that our generation, right, I think that's why so many people have woken up to, hang on a second, this spiritual work, the other realms and dimensions that are going on around us, it's real, and they're connecting in with it. And the reason why is so as we do the work, so as to pave the way for those star children when they become of age, when they become adults, because they're here to create some shifts, I'm telling you, and to do some huge work. And the love and the compassion, the psychic ability and intuitive ability that these guys have is just unquestionable. And I also find, I'm talking about the last 6 months again, but in these last 6 months, more and more people, like people that wouldn't have any belief in any of this, the nannies, right, are coming up to me and saying, Hilary, my child is coming out with this, that and the other. I don't know what to say to them. Can you talk to them? And sitting down with the little kids on a one-to-one and having to chat with them, they're finishing my sentences, Nick. They just get it. We're talking about, intuition and psychic and loved ones. They can usually see their loved ones that have passed away, and they're chatting to them and everything else. And as I'm explaining all of this and the way it works, they're finishing my sentences. So there's more and more and more of them.
Now, I think the awakening process, I believe it's real anyway, I think the awakening process started on this planet in the mid-60s with the flower power stuff and all that kind of stuff going on. Late 50s, early, after World War II, the world started to wake up and say, we can't do that again, that was just ridiculous. And I think there was an awakening going on, and I believe a lot of star children were born in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and this is only my opinion. And I believe that an awful lot of them worldwide have been misdiagnosed with ADHD and other hyper-related illnesses that doctors like to give them titles for, I don't believe, and this is only my opinion, folks, don't take this as fact, but I don't believe that ADHD exist. I think these kids there's something special about them.
Absolutely. Einstein, he was severely autistic.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I was talking earlier on about, when I was a child and looking up at my dad, and it's kind of, oh my God, he forgets who he is. He's come to believe that this physical body is all he is, And that's what society wants us to believe. That's what this three-dimensional society want us to do, so as to keep us down, keep us limited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we are being suppressed. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. These children are coming in with so much love and so much, so much love, so much intelligence about them, right? They're healers. They're healers. But mainstream has to come along and box them in and give them a label, right? So as to see them as, I don't know, lesser than everybody else, whatever, right? Lesser.
Well, they can't turn them into obedient taxpayers. That's how I see it,
Yeah. Not, let's embrace the power. Let's embrace what this child is here to teach us.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't suit them at all. But the work will get done. These kids, these grown-ups, they're already doing them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they can be stopped.
Yeah, look at the love. Look at the love that they are showing and demonstrating just by being them to the people, their parents, their family around them. You know what I mean? That they're the personification of pure love, and all that's truly important. And the people around them that are coming in contact with them are experiencing that in their interaction with them, and in doing so, therefore being reminded of who they truly are as well. What I mean? And so those kids, young adults, they're going to do their work anyway, because it doesn't matter to them what mainstream says, what society says. It doesn't matter to them. It won't affect them. They're going to go on with things.
Yeah, I do know some kids like that have been, in my opinion, misdiagnosed with ADHD, and that's one thing I've always got from them, that they don't see society the way we do. They just don't. They don't get it. They look out at the world and say, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just a bright spark, and here you are telling me I shouldn't be a bright spark. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're wiser than that, and they just have zero tolerance for that, and they're not going to change. And that's a brilliant thing.
I think it is. It's a wonderful thing. Now, just before I go, we've got a couple of minutes left. You're going to be appearing at the Open Minds Conference in Dooley's Hotel in February on the 25th and 26th. I'm not sure what day you're on. You'll obviously know that yourself. You're going to be giving a speech for about an hour, is it?
That's it, yeah. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
No, I'll be there myself anyway, so I'll be there for the both days, so we will get to meet down there, hopefully.
Brilliant, yeah. I just want to say, what Trevor has done, the brainchild of Trevor Reavers, and I know he's been on the show a couple of times, the concept that he has come up with, and then to go and give birth to that, and the wonderful team of people that have come in around him from the Awake and Aware team, that have come in to say, yeah, okay, let's make this happen, and then I think this conference is for absolutely everybody, because the range, the diversity of the speakers that he has is in
it's amazing, yeah. Personally, I think it should be held in Croke Park, but so that's just me.
Well, there's always time, and let's manifest that, law of attraction.
Yeah.
But he, nowadays, right, what we need now is we all need to be educated, and we all need to be informed, and we all need to take our power back. And that's the platform that Trevor is given for that to happen in this conference. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, there's something in it for absolutely everyone, and then there may well be something in it for people that didn't actually realise that, oh my God, I didn't realise that was for me. But you know what else? People now, and Ireland, we're talking about Ireland and Ireland healing, really healing deeply. We all need to connect. Like I call it the brotherhood of man, and the sisterhood of man as well. We all need to connect and stand shoulder to shoulder, so as we can come together and be, because it's a very lonely old world when you're speaking a language that nobody else knows and nobody else wants to know or wants to get. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Right? The conference is going to create the unity, so as we can stand shoulder to shoulder in that brotherhood of man, in strength, so as to create this mass shift power, which I truly believe is beginning. This conference is the beginning of it going to happen, to shift the vibration of even just this little country, or let's only even start at Waterford for now, you know, but let's think big, up into a higher level of consciousness and freedom, so as we can all show up and do our part in creating that shift and creating that change, and knowing that we're supported from each
Definitely.
other, all the people in the unit. And you know what else? Every single person, the speakers, the team, the audience that are coming together, every single person that's going to be there is like, has something to bring to it and something different, and that's what we need. Like, say for example, you're going to be there, I'm going to be there. Your strengths might be one of my weaknesses, my strengths might be somebody else's weaknesses, but when we join together, all of those resources come together.
Exactly. Well, listen, I have to leave it there, Hilary. Unfortunately, it's 1:10, so I have to wrap things up.
To talk to you.
Well, listen, thanks very much, and hopefully I'll see you in February.
Yeah, oh, no doubt about it.
All right, you take care.
Mind yourself.
Thanks very much, Hilary. Bye, bye. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Hilary Connor. Conference down in, or the Open Minds Conference, should I say, in Dooley's Hotel on February 25th and 26th. This has been The World You Don't Know, so until next week, folks, remember, the world is full of great people. If you can't find one, be one. Talk to you all very soon.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, the secret oath, and the secret proceedings.
Waking humanity, one soul at a time. This is the World You Don't Know radio show with your host, Nick O'Connor.